So chat here. We're live. We're live. We're live.
Hi everybody. What is up? We are back again.
We are back. It's Monday. Today is it's Monday, the 3rd of August, 2020, and we are here. So how is everyone doing? How was your week? Remember last week we ended it with us saying that there is something that we want to try and we have not tried. Like, when you have an insecurity towards doing something. So I did something this week. I did a TikTok that was talking about fashion. I will post it tomorrow and post it on Facebook. I'd always wanted to do that TikTok. I'd always wanted to do that TikTok, and I was like, shit, I think people will think weird of me. But it has gotten so many views on TikTok. And I'm like, okay. So I got out of my comfort zone. Yeah, and here
Now
we
that
are.
you're saying that, I also want to do a TikTok. Oh my God. Oh, I just realized I left my phone very far away from me, so I can't see who is watching. Man.
I can see. Yeah, so this week we're just going to talk about we're going to introduce ourselves. I'm Batura and that's Sheila.
I'm Sheila, also known as
You can follow me on Datura on Instagram, and you can follow our page, A Queen's Wit. It's called A Queen's Wit on YouTube, where you'll find all the lives that we've been doing. So yeah, Sheila, introduce yourself.
My name is Sheila. Before I continue, Mercy, I feel like your internet is shaky a little bit. I couldn't see you. You were okay. Now I can see you properly.
Oh my God, it's raining.
Anyway, so my name is Sheila, also known as Madame Bay. I'm the creator of Madame Bay, a platform where we talk about everything weight loss, wellness, healing naturally. I share healthy recipes, and I'm an online transformation coach. You can find me on every platform: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as Madame Bay.
Sheila, let me know when I'm buffering or anything. Yeah, Okay, so today we're just going to talk about how it's crazy out there, and how do you keep yourself sane? How do you remain calm? How do you remain swim? The point about this is keeping your head above water, and what it means keeping your head above the water means literally gliding on top of the ocean, because it's a huge ocean and it's the tides are so high. So how are you handling keeping your head above the water with everything that is pulling you down? There's so much, when you turn on media, it's something negative. When you turn on even your friends, when you turn on your social media also, you see it's always warning this, warning that, conspiracy this, conspiracy that. And then even in your normal life, you feel like the systems that are set are just there to put you down even further. So if you are if you're a work person, then you'd feel this kind of dilemma. If you're still asleep, then of course everything is normal for you at this moment, it's fine.
You're just going with the flow. Whatever happens, that happens to you. Actually, you feel like a victim, probably, like things are happening to you, yet it could be the other way around. So how are you dealing with that?
Yeah. Well, for me, I'll just talk about myself, how the few things that I do. Then maybe Sheila can trigger something within you, and then you can talk about something. Like today, we are freestyling. We are really freestyling because it's something we actually do feel like is happening. Hi, Tasha. It's something that is happening for real. So we thought like if we talk about it, then we open up your minds towards something to think about for the week, and we also learn something while we talk about what we're going through. So for me, the thing that I'm having the biggest challenge with, to be honest with you, keeping my head above water, I'm having a challenge with information overload. You know, I'm having a problem with information overload whereby I get information from so many people, especially with what's going on right now with the whole COVID. So I get information overload and I don't know what to do, who to believe, what can I do, blah, 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 blah. So, what usually happens is you start watching one video and that it makes you curious to watch another one and watch another one. And then you don't even give yourself time to marinate on that information or to see where, like, how it applies to you, because sometimes we are even, like, for example, I get so emotional about American politics, but I'm not even in America. It doesn't even affect me at all, but I get myself involved in that even though I shouldn't. It's not good for my mental health, it's none of my business. So I'm starting to recognize such things within my life, like, how do you how do you be part of how do you be woke without actually knowing what's going on? I don't know if you get what I mean.
I get what you mean, Mercy. You've said that, and it made me think about something. You know that whole thing whereby they say we are very little beings in regards to what's going on in the world. When you start to know about the things that are going on in the world and how the world is being, like, like how the world is conditioned and everything, and then you see how you're such a tiny person and you have such a small part to play, and you're like, oh my god, how can I make a difference? What are you doing, Mercy? How can I make a difference in this world that is like this, yet I know what I know and also still exists? So you start to be anxious, you start to not want to actually even put in the work, because like, what am I doing all of this for? That's number one. Number two, for me, I'm scared. Like, I have anxiety because I'm scared to not make it. That's the anxiety I have right now with everything going on in the world. The one thing that I used to be anxious, but I feel like I've gotten over the anxiety of the things going on in the world after knowing what's going on in the world and getting into that rabbit hole of doing my research and knowing how things are going on. I know whatever is going on now, I'm like, where is my place in this whole world now? Like, how can I make a difference? And it makes me anxious to be, I don't know, I'm just anxious to not be able to do anything and to just be there. And these days I find myself meditating a lot. Mercy, do you know that these days I'm able to quiet my mind completely, like 100%, and just get out of my body? And that is the weirdest thing ever. The other day I was meditating and I felt like a different, I don't know, it was a guided meditation, and this guy goes like, I felt like my body and everything is nothing in relation to what's going on. Like, I actually did feel it, and I'm just like a being, what's the word,
A spiritual being having a human experience.
experience. Yeah, like, I'm just here looking at everything as a third party, and I just felt like this being can never go away. You know that kind of feeling? Like, more than, it was the weirdest thing ever. I'm like, damn, I wish I would feel like this every day, because that day, that time I felt like I could do anything, because I felt like, okay, if this is my place in the world, then you can really do anything, because you're just a physical thing, really. To me, that's how I deal with my anxiety lately, by meditating, to be honest. Like, I meditate a lot and I write. So let me tell you about my journaling experience, you guys. I write a lot, and Mercy, I used to have a diary in the past. Like, I used to be those girls with a diary as a child. But in Navisunsa, no, in Chivuli, one of the girls, my best friends, she stole one of my best friends. I don't know what happened. Maybe I think she liked the boy that I was dating during that time, and she went, got my diary, got the pages out, and started distributing it. Ever since then, I stopped journaling. But recently, 2017, Mercy told me to start journaling again. So I started journaling. Mercy, I actually just looked at that journal this morning. It's very funny. Like, I was moving my stuff and I landed on that journal. I like reading my life. Oh my God, houseflies in the summer. Like, I started reading through that journal, and every time I read through that journal, the stuff that I write, I'm very honest with myself. Every time I write that stuff, first of all, every time you write something and take it out of your head, you become a third party. Like you're not in that experience anymore. It's like you're watching that experience and you're not it, and you're able to make better decisions. But then again, also when I'm stressed and I'm going through certain things, and I go back in my journal and read how I like managed to get over certain things that I thought were difficult through that time, and I'm like, yo, this is just an experience. I'm going to experience it. It's going to come. It's going to. It's like a video game, basically. Like you know how you go to a next level and the next level and the next level. It's just that's how life is. That's how I look at it these days with anxiety. I just be like, okay, I see what's happening, and I just look at it as a third party. I write it down, and it's fun to read. It's the best novel of life. To be honest, you guys should try it. You laugh at yourself so much, it will be better than watching a movie.
For me, actually, I've always been journaling because the one thing that I love in my, just me, if you're my friend or anything, you will know that the thing that disappears from you is a pen. I always take pens. I always scribble. So I've always been that kind of person who just steals pens, not intentionally. I just find myself using a pen. So I just used to write. I found myself spending a lot of time by myself, like in my life. I found myself having to spend lots of time by myself. So I was like, I think it's possible that I can be my own therapist. Why do I need to talk about someone else? So if I'm writing, I am writing in the sense that I will ask myself questions like, what does this mean to you actually? Why were you so affected by it? Can you tell me why you were so affected by it? you know so for me, when it comes to things like those, that's when I get the pen, when I'm like in between two roads or four roads or whatever, and I need to make a decision, or I don't know how I feel about something. Then I will start. That's when I'll write down, I'll journal, and I'll be my own therapist, and I'll be like, hey, what is it that you need for yourself? What is it that this person did? How can you so, but what is happening right now is, it seems like what is happening in the world, I'm trying for it not to affect me, because I have reached a point where I know so much that I'm not scared. I don't know if you get what I mean. Like, I've reached a point where I know so much that is going on because my curiosity led me to research and all of that stuff, that I know so much, and I'm like, So, in the end, there is really no reason to be scared. So, I'm at a point whereby what everyone calls like news, for me, it's just fake news. What everyone calls like, oh my God, we should be in panic, for me, it's just, okay.
Yeah, me too. I feel like you see how everyone says 2020 is that year. Oh my God, 2020, take back 2020. For me, I'm like, keep on bringing it, like keep
Yeah.
it coming.
Yeah.
You're bring whatever I bring at me. I'm here for it. Whatever 2020 is bringing, I'm just here with it. It's like an ocean. I'm going with the wave. Whatever the wave is, I'm just like, okay, let's do this. We're doing this. Okay, let's do this. It's quarantine. Okay, we are quarantining. It's this. Okay, what?
I was telling someone, this year is a year everyone has been forced to look at themselves in the mirror. Everyone. Because there is no way you're going to, me, I'm used to spending time by myself. That is why mm, I'm thriving in the quarantine. In fact, I'm thriving more in these times than before, because you know I don't know, there is just some wind, some air that is coming, whereby, like, where there is poetic justice in all kinds of ways, and there is like real justice, through, I don't know, for some reason nature is just serving justice and karma.
It's serving us. It's just I'm here for all the servings. By the way, I'm just like,
It's
okay,
just
what's next?
karma, it's just dishing it out. So
So what makes you guys anxious about what's going on in the world right now, like with everything that happened with quarantine, with some people's job situations not being as solid as they used to be? How do you feel about the fact that you were made to go to school for all these years and they told you that you would secure a job and the job is not secure anymore? All that stuff. Let us know.
yeah, let us know. We just came here because what other thing do I do? I tend not to take things to the heart because I have learned that there are certain news that actually gets to your soul, you know? For example, I saw a story recently again about Bill Gates, and he's very adamant about having the vaccine start with black people, which it was something. Oh yeah. It was about that Dr. Stella Emmanuel. It was about Dr. Stella Emmanuel. After reading about Dr. Stella Emmanuel and listening to her talk and how she thinks hydroxychloroquine is a drug for COVID, and her being muted, and yet what she's saying is valid. So
Massive was muted so bad on Instagram, they deleted, they
exactly,
put all the videos down.
like that affected me in a way that I know she's right, and I know so many people need to know this. I posted it on my Facebook. Not even one person watched it. I was so angry. It's not even because I want people to see like my Facebook, but it's just like when it's something to do with vanity, or like if I'm showing my tits or I'm showing fashion, it's the post
I
is.
have to say something, Mercy.
Hold on, let me. I'm going to let you speak. But when it's something to do with now, like Dr. Stella Emmanuel, and then I make such a post, and then I'm pissed that people don't really care for such things, then it gets me down in a bit, in a way. But then I'm just like, you know what? I'm only responsible for myself. I'm not responsible for other people's ignorance. They can choose to do whatever they want to.
I'm going to defend the people and say that no one is ignorant. I'm just going to say that that video, unless you have it on your phone, that it was sent to you on WhatsApp and something like that. I sent it to so many people. I had so many links to it from so many different pages on Instagram, but they all took it down. So
Mm,
it's not those people's fault. And it's the same thing like me sharing stories about certain things that are going on in the world, and those stories are not watched. And it's not a coincidence that all those things are not watched. It's intentional that these platforms, remember, like all these platforms
they
are
were all
business platforms.
reported. Whoever
YouTube,
posted that,
Instagram, Facebook, CNN, BBC, like all those things, it's a business. Like it's, yes, it's an, but this is just information for you to go and use it however you want, but just you have to remember that all these channels that we watch, they're conditioned, they're put there to condition us, and to program us, and everything that you are watching is like, you have to think about the owners of these things. You just go do your research, find out who owns these things. People want to put the word out there, but it's up to you to find the right information, because everything you're putting
that
out
video,
there.
I still have it still on my Facebook page if you want to see it. But if you go to all the Instagram posts that were reposted about Dr. Stella Emmanuel, they were all deleted and all reported as false information about COVID. They were reported.
Oh my God, yet when it's time to promote pedophilia, they're the first people. It's so weird how Facebook can let an ad about pedophilia go. Like, before you make ads on Facebook, because for us, we do ads, we do online business, so we run ads. Before you run an ad, there are things that you're not supposed to put out there. But it's so funny how an ad about this, I mean, how a post like this can be taken down, but something to do with promoting pedophilia is not taken down. It's like they're conditioning us in a certain kind of way by making it okay. We watch it in movies, we watch it in certain things, so that we think it's okay. Like that later when they pass a law about it, we're just like, okay. And that's the thing about us as humanity, we just follow. We're just there to follow. We don't question anything. And the fact that we just follow, that's how all this anxiety comes on us. You start to be anxious because you're being bombarded with all this information that is not even like, it's conditioning you, but it's not you really. It's the stuff that you're watching that's influencing you, and it makes you confused in your mind. It makes you like feel like you're not good enough just because of what you're consuming, and it just brings all this anxiety. So another thing that I like to do is cut out. I don't watch movies. I'm not the kind of person that you would find watching the like regular news or movies. Or if I watch a movie, just know I'm watching it with this, of course, for entertainment, purely entertainment. But considering I know what I know these days, I'm just like, every time I watch a movie, you guys, by the way, if you want any information on what we're talking about, because there is a part of me that feels like you think we're speaking in metaphors, but if you want any more information and more links, just DM Mercy, DM me, and we'll just send you some links for some information if you want to go into the rabbit hole. But just be ready to I don't know.
if you can't handle the truth, then you just can't handle the truth. But then the question is like, what they usually say, like, ignorance is bliss. But for me, I usually say, but then, bliss is stupidity. You know, it's stupidity because you choose to be stupid. I believe that the reason as to why most of us are here, especially now in 2020, yeah, all the walls are closing in on us, and they're making you look at who you really are. I think finding truth or seeking truth should be something that all of us make a thing, finding truth, because then you understand. Even, by the way, how do we deal with keeping our heads above water? I understand right now people have become woke, and by you being woke, it doesn't mean you get woke to other people's bullshit. You can also be woke to your own bullshit. You can get woke to your own bullshit, whereby your life presents you an opportunity to see yourself for who you really are, and your people, and where you come from, and all of that stuff. That's when you go through a rabbit hole, and you even face, like, let's say your 5-year-old self, face all those demons and stuff like that. It's a process. Of course, you can't do it at once, but I'm just saying, like, right now, what everyone is feeling, most of the people, it's because if it's causing you anxiety, maybe it resonates with a part of you that you have not dealt with. You know what I mean? So, of course, I won't lie. There are some things that really affect me. The only things that really, really affect me are the facts that are going to affect people in Uganda, for example, where we come from. And they are very oblivious, cannot even care about what is going on. And sometimes it's not that they don't care, it's actually because of how the system was set up to keep them ignorant, to keep them in the back of what's going on. So when shit hits the fan, the first people who suffer are the ignorant ones. And you're not going to tell someone that, oh, I did not know. They tell you ignorance is not an excuse. You see, this is how these people twist your head. They tell you ignorance is bliss, but then in another sense, they tell you ignorance is not defense. You see what I mean? It's a setup. So be careful with these words that they use, like um there is an example, ignorance is bliss, and then in the contra, then they start telling you ignorance is not defense for you. So you have to stay woke, and you have to keep everything. You see, last time I was watching Daily Mail, and there was a huge headline to do with I think it was Kanye West or something. Let's say someone shot someone. Let's say Meg the Stallion and stuff. The headline was Megan the Stallion and Tory Lanez shoot each other. Like,
And those people are out for clickbaity stuff. They're out to
and
get
then
out
when
those
you go and
emotions.
read, it will be a small sentence that justifies them not to be sued about it being wrong information. So they will use just one word to say, but they did not shoot each other. You know what I mean? Like, so
They
you,
said no, allegedly. They use the word allegedly, but how many people must in this world when someone says, but and even if you go and say that they put out false information, just the simple fact that they use that one word allegedly, they get away with it. Like
yeah. So just protect your
anyway,
energy, and not be reeled into like stupidity and ignorance, where you fall into a trap because you're ignorant, or
Another thing that causes anxiety is, of course, the unknown, which is almost the same thing as being ignorant about certain things. But the one where I know how to do that, actually, the other day I shared something on my Instagram stories, Mercy. I don't know if you watched it. I was watching this guy, and he goes like, "What would you do if someone walks into your door?" You guys can interact with this thing with this in the comments. What would you do if someone walked into your door? And of course, you like knocks and you open for them, but they don't ask, like they don't say, can I come in? They just walk in enter your bed, cook your food, maybe sleep with your spouse, do whatever the hell they want. What would you guys do? Let me know in the let us know in the comments. And then after that, if you told the person to leave and they refuse to leave, and then you're like, you're going to leave, and then they laugh at you and they say you're not going to leave, what would you do? You would be so furious and confused and like you don't know what to do. It's the same thing like when you watch all these things, that the point of this information is to keep you this like, I don't know what, mentally, like to trigger something emotionally in your mind, and then you start being confused. You have these emotional things, like for example, when you see something about pedophilia or whatever, you're like, my God, how can people do something like this in this world? How can that,
Me, it still triggers me. I don't know
you
how
see what I mean? It's a trigger, but instead of something triggers you, it's like it knocked on your door and then it instantly triggered you. Instead of you sitting down with this thought and trying to understand, okay, why is this triggering me?
no.
Like,
I'm not sitting down with
no,
you.
Mercy, if you sit down with it and there is no way you're going to understand why people are doing this, but then of course you understand why it doesn't sit well with you. At least it won't take up so much of your thought than if you don't sit down and understand it. I feel like it's like that. I swear, it won't take up.
Let me tell you something. The more I get deep into this
But
Pizzagate
it
thing,
is, yeah.
Pizzagate, you guys, I'm telling you, I'm dropping dimes.
Just go Google what
Listen,
Mercy said.
three. There are three: Pizzagate, Frazzle Drip, Obamagate. Those three.
Go
Frazzle
do your research.
Drip, you will. But if you're not strong-hearted and you still have things to deal with within yourself, then please don't take on this burden, because knowing these things is
Please
a
don't.
Sheila, Sheila, knowing these things is a burden.
It is a burden. It is a burden. It's a very big burden because sometimes we'd like to talk about it, but no one is willing to talk about it, and it's so painful on you.
Exactly. Even do something about it. It's a burden. So you only look for those things at your own risk.
Yeah, actually, it's a burden. Like I mentioned earlier, sometimes when you know certain things, then you start to wonder where you fit in this whole world, because the whole world is a little bit of a mess, a big, crazy mess that you can't even start to organize as a person, even if you took it upon yourself. So at the end of the day, I feel like this whole thing of anxiety, you have to just learn how to deal with yourself and and what information you let into your mind. Because when you let certain things into your mind, Mercy, it's like they come and sleep. It's like a tenant that doesn't pay rent and just uses your shit and breaks it all the time in your mind.
Dude, you know what I had to do? I had to create a person in my head. This image when like for example in the village, when the grandmother is chasing the little child with a stick, like beating. That's how I
Mhm.
had to make an image in my head when something like that comes, and it's really bothering me. It's bothering my soul. I just close my eyes. And I imagine I'm the grandmother with a stick chasing the thought, like literally. And then I grab the person or whatever the thought is, and then I hit, 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 hit. That's when I know that thought
You
is
know, actually, when I think about this, maybe I gave a heavy example of an I gave a heavy example. Let me give an example of maybe you're anxious because you're not good enough. You know those thoughts that come into your head, you're not good enough. But who said you're not good enough? Like when you sit down and start to think about all those thoughts, you start to realize that all the reasons why you think you're not good enough, it's not you saying you're not good enough. It's people in your past, in people along the way, or just certain things. It's not you. It's all these things that you've taken up.
That's what we were talking about last week about
Actually, yeah.
about insecurities.
Yeah, about insecurity. So you take up all these things that make you insecure, and what happens when you feel insecure? You start to be anxious. Like when you feel insecure, someone can say something about something so stupid, and then you have this anxiety over something really that does not make sense, but just because you let it take real estate in your mind, you know what I mean? But if you don't let it go in your mind, if someone knocks on your door, hmm?
No, I was just repeating the real estate thing. It
Like, but if someone knocks on your door and they come in and you ask them, what are you doing here? And have a real conversation with them. Like, if that thought comes into your mind and you sit down and try to understand why it is the way it is, then like, I mean, you start to understand yourself better, and then you're less anxious. For example, if you tell yourself you're not good enough and you sit down with that thought, and this is the hardest thing. I talked about meditation earlier. It's a form of meditation and journaling. If you get your notebook down and you're like, okay, I'm not good enough, you write that down. What does that mean? I'm not good enough. Does that mean I can't do this? I can't do that? And when you break it down, you realize that, oh, it's not true. Like, you can do all these things, number one, and number two, there's other, and you start to ask yourself, where did I get all these things? So you have to, like, sit down with that thought and sit down with it so much so that if you ask yourself a question like, why am I not good enough, and you can't find an answer, sit down and find the reason why. If you feel like you want to get to on your phone, like, to get distracted, do not get distracted. If you feel like you're yawning, do not yawn. Like, just go back to that question, and if you feel like you've forgotten it, you've written it down, read it and write it. You'll figure out that, oh my god, all this shit is just in your head, and like, you are stronger than you think. Actually, do you guys know that what's the percentage of the brain that humans use? Do you know?
I think it's like 10% or something.
That's
Less,
the reason why they say that
less.
that's the reason why they say humans don't use their brain to the full capacity, because we just let things happen to us. Someone comes and tells you something, you take it in so much, you think about it so much, yet you're just a human body experiencing something. All of this, you're just a witness of things happening.
It's the same thing you said, like when you were meditating, you felt something like, it's like we are just light. You know how they say a space is, let's say this universe or the other planet is, let's say, 100 or 10,000 years, light years away. It's the same thing as you yourself. It's like I look at myself as a star, a star or some sort of energy, that is just going by. The people that I meet, everyone who experiences me, everyone who I experience, the fact that I cannot touch it, I cannot feel it, I cannot touch it. I can remember it, I can talk about it, but I cannot touch it. Now, the beauty is when you know yourself, which is my point, is knowing thyself. Someone said fear is one of the problems. We have to start something. Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, when you know thyself, then that's when things start to automatically like make sense for
You know
you.
that synonym for fear is false evidence appearing real. Like,
Yeah.
those are the words. I wanted to say something massive, but now it has totally gone.
Still continuing about the light bodies, meaning that they say that energy does not die out, energy is transferred. Meaning, even if your body is asleep, your energy is still working. It's still working. Or like when you think you're not doing anything, you'll be surprised that you're doing something, depending on what you're thinking or what you're putting in your head at that time. So you can be sitting there, one of those things when we do in Africa or back home, where you look at something and you cannot take your eyes off of it. You cannot take your eyes off of it, and you're just looking there until someone does this, because your mind is very, very far, very, very, very far. And you're like, what is this person thinking about? But even you yourself, you realize that your body is here, but your reality is somewhere totally different. Because if you can focus your eyes on something and not even know that you focus your eyes on that something, it shows you that you can actually focus your mind on totally different things and cautiously say, hey, look, that does not affect me. And you even say it out loud. It's okay to talk to yourself. We used to think it's not okay to talk to yourself, but it's okay. You're like, hey, thought A, B, C, and D, please stay there. Not today. I don't know how to deal with you right now. Just leave me alone. I have things to do. Or I choose today to be happy. I'm not going to think about pedophiles, people lying to us about viruses, our leaders trying to kill us. Like people trying to connive, people trying to be racist towards you. Like, fuck that shit. That
You
is,
know that thing. You know that thing that they say that emotions. What?
I was swearing.
I know. You know that thing where they say emotions are energy in motion? Like, it takes you 17 seconds to start a bad thought and to start getting anxious. You literally start, like, for example, I don't know, I can't even give an example right now. I'm so mindful of my thoughts these days, but you start by one thought, like, oh, Oh God, what can I give as an example? Mercy, give me an example of a bad thought. Um,
No, you start with, let me post this car picture, I look nice. Then you start saying, but my toes are ugly. Yeah, I remember someone said I used to bite my nails. Because I do bite my nails, I'm trying to stop. Someone said you bite your nails. Shit, my nails are showing. Oh my God. And then you're like, maybe I won't post it. I know people are going to be thinking this of me. Let me not post it.
and then you end up not doing what you want to do, and then in your mind you're just like, I didn't do it because, man, people are going to say this, people are going to say, but who are those people? When you think about it, who are those people? You think people are there caring about you?
People forget. You know, when I notice people forget, they forgot about that. They forgot that Kim Kardashian had sex on an and she
People forgot about George Floyd. Just simply, let's talk about something that's
was
very recent.
no, because I'm just thinking of a personal thing that can make you like feel like people are going to not forget about what I've done for life, right? So I gave the example of Kim. Life moves on. Remember, Bad Black was in photo shit for all of that money, but now she's okay. So people move on. Like that's one thing I've realized. Do you be thinking, for example, me when I'm scrolling through Instagram and I see a post, I look at the post and I'm like, okay, if it's outrageous, I will look at it and share it in that moment, or even save it if it's too much for later or for reference later. And I'll continue my day. I'm not going to be there like calling someone, hey, so this post, hey, like, this post,
Also, another thing that causes anxiety is this world of social media that we live in. Like we overbe comparing ourselves to other
someone
people.
says something. Someone said sometimes the people we associate with can kill your dreams. It's true.
So, you know what? We
100.
we actually wanted to talk about friendships and circles today, but we decided to talk about this. But what you're saying is true. One thing I've learned to do is drop everyone that is not drop, but just like keep a distance from people that are not uplifting me. To be honest, I would rather keep the least people. And right now, if I can count the people in my life.
Quality, pick.
Quality over quantity, guys. Quality over quantity anytime. Choose. I'm one of those people that will cut out anyone. Let me tell you, someone, if friend, family, whatever, I'll cut you out if you're blocking my goals, to be honest. Yeah, I don't joke about that stuff. If you're not good for my mental state, you're not good for that's it. Like it's like no hard feelings, no nothing. I don't hate you or what. It's just I'm taking a break.
Like me also, I just corner like this. You're like, what happened to this chick? I'm like, yo, man, I don't know. I think it's also the Sagittarius in me, Sagittarius
Is a
would
Sagittarius a fire sign?
I think it's water or fire. I think it's fire. So people would rather just like most Sagittarius, I know, and even me myself. If you are overwhelming me, because Sagittarius are really strong characters, but if you are overwhelming me, yeah, and we are not like sisters or anything, I swear I'm just going to stay away. You not see me.
Man, it doesn't matter even if we are sisters, but we are not on the same wavelength. That's it for me, to be honest.
Like
The
come on,
thing,
Sheila, there are some people you're bound with. You stay in the same house because you're sisters. That's what I mean.
I mean, yeah, we stay in the same house, but that doesn't mean that we should have conversations and like have like, you know what I mean? Especially, Mercy, if I know you're not going to be
Like,
happy for me, there's no way I'm going to come and share certain things with you because I know I'm not going to elevate in that area when I'm sharing with you. We'll exist, but that doesn't mean I should share with you. What?
guy, you're tough, but
I'm tough these days, man. There is nothing like no time for jokes these days. Are you joking?
abantu bafunira doom.
Gwe. I don't have to gain my energy, to be honest. Like I don't have. There is nothing. These days I realize, some when you around people, and then me these days I try to avoid people. This is the reason why. So many times you do certain things, and in your head you're like, "What will this person think?" I don't like that thought of what will this person think. So if I feel like I'm around people that are not going to be supporting me,
I wanted to also tell people this, like it's important. But let me even look in the camera and look in your eyes, in your soul, and tell you this. it's okay to be alone. You know, it's okay. You can be alone. It's okay to be alone. Spend time with yourself, put on music, dance, paint, laugh. It's okay to be alone. It's okay. Like most people think you need people to feel good. Do you know how much entertaining you are just on your own?
And when
Like,
you think about it, people don't even make you feel good. They make you feel stressed in most cases, and you feel like you need to prove something all the damn time.
yeah, yeah. And now for me, there's a part of me that is a people pleaser, So sometimes when I find myself in a group of so many people will be like, oh, Mercy is so social, Mercy is so, but I just feel the need to make myself social. It's either 0 or 100. And most of the time when I'm by myself, whoever knows me will be like, Mercy, what's wrong with you? Actually, an introvert in actual sense. I just enjoy spending time by myself because after interacting and stressing out, like I feel like I need to speak and be all over the place and like, but I'm learning to be like, hey, you don't have to over insert yourself and make yourself known. You can work hard and let what you do, be your
Speak
own
for you. You know what's so funny, Mercy?
thing.
In the past 3 years, something I've learned is to be in a place, when there are so many people and I'm also there, but you can't see me. One of those things, like I'm there and I'm with all these people, but I'm so quiet. One day this guy asked me, like, Sheila, why is it that you don't talk so much? And every time you talk, you have something valuable to say, but you're never one of those people that are always blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, I can't. Like, I just can't, because sometimes it's just you look around, and first of all, I hate having conversation with people that are not genuine, to be honest. And if I've met you for the first time, we're probably going to talk so much. But if we've been friends for a while and I know that you're not an honest person, I'm not going to have a conversation with you. It's going to be very brief, nothing. Like, I don't have time for such people. It's just, and it's also people that don't support me or people that make me feel uncomfortable. Actually, these days I've learned something. Mercy taught me something. Not let no don't I don't let myself be constipated with people's with a certain way that I feel. If I feel a certain kind of way and you make me feel a certain kind of way and you're in my life, best believe you're going to
No,
hear
people
about it.
make you get constipation, yeah,
You're
and
going to hear about it.
something, someone is stressing you, your stomach, your gut is not functioning properly because someone is stressing you. Before you know it, you cannot go to the toilet and you're bloated. So just I know it's difficult back home sometimes when in Uganda, people don't think like mental health is anything, or you trying to take care of yourself. In fact, you'll even get bullied by it. So you think you're better, or because or when you tell them something that's to do with science and stuff, they will laugh at you like, ha 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 ha. Look at now, she thinks she's a science, she's a doctor, or something like that. But just be in your truth, continue in your journey, live, let the sleeping dogs lie, educate yourself, make yourself the better version of you every day, every day, every day. I started this journey of finding the best version of myself in 2017. Yeah, in 2017, that's when I made the decision that, hey, it's time for me to live my best life somehow. I mean, I'm on there living my best life. Ooh, wait for that shit, it's coming.
It's coming. It's
I'm
working
living my
amazing.
better life now.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Must
So
be 43 minutes. You guys, I feel like we've talked too much.
45 minutes we've talked now.
You know what? We thought that we're going to be here for only 30 minutes because we didn't plan what we're going to say. But what's fun is that I feel like we could go on and on and on, but we have to cut this for today. I hope you guys enjoyed our company. Let
Yeah,
us know
please
what.
share, 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 share. And we're going to be coming back every Monday as usual. We're coming back every Monday, so be on the lookout for us. Please share our blog. Go to
A Queen's Wit.
YouTube. Go to YouTube, A Queen's Witch. That's where we post the finished videos. And we also have a page on Instagram called A Queen's Witch. And if you would want to be part of the conversation next time, please let me know so that we can add you. Yeah. Let us know so that we can add you to this StreamYard thingy, channel thingy, so that you can have a discussion with us too. So Thank you for listening to us, and have a good night.
And a good day for you, whoever is in Canada or whatever country you are. Have a good day. Bye.